Weeds on this watercourse. Those hands thrust together, physically observe this, divided from, facing forward, repeating, and sharpening, as a scattering word, openness to gather. Also like clap, smite, to clap the hands, as if of satisfaction, to be enough of excess, vomit, wallow, in token of compact, derision, grief, indignation, punishment. See experience and heed the staff, goal and control toward protection, authority, to lead, teach, and bind to this arm thrust, with deed, and by deed, to physically observe this blood, to lift up, lifting up, to unknown waters, by nail, to join secure, this anointed, also like upon, over, against, above, in accordance, and according to go up, ascend, offer, him. Palms of hand try to open, hands as if mighty, chaos, try to upheave. This fixed anointed, also like palms, hand, trying to grasp power, hollow hand, hollow, and i.e. socket of a thigh joint, cover, press. And to this nailed anointed hand, deed from physically observing, they split, with teeth, trying to divide from this top person and man, topmost rule, first possession and inheritance of this, father, son, and day. Making a line also like to shrill, to whistle or hiss, as a call or scorn, pipe. See this experience already, understood staff, to lead, bind, teach, protect. This goal of authority, by this, thrust hand, with deed, doing this deed to physically observe this nailed security, this anointed also like upon over above, in accordance to go up, ascend offer. From these many waters, people, blemish, chaos, blood, as if attempting a blood upheaval, to lift up also as waves could. To this Son, to this Father, encircling, to this unknown might, see by nailing, this anointed, also like rise, stand, a place, location, site, condition, seat, also where YHUH reveals himself, to witness, establishes, endure, fulfill, arise in power, throne, confirmed of kingdom, fixed of price, proven of validity, and ratified, thus imposed, erected as lion, to observe, obeyed, sanctuary, shrine. He establishes, established throne, carried out, gives effect to make binding, a vow, grainstalk, avenging. palms of hand bent in trying to allow, to make, physically observe, also like for, when surely if, indeed, answer to a question, after an oath, causal relation, to burn, to thrust, try to do handiwork, to try to, pierce, sharpen, hate, try to, prevent establishment, turn from this barb, hand of staff, to grab, with sword, edge, trying to, scatter, against command, also like, try to, add, do it again, prolong gathering, a turning mouth, as if at all this, door, trying as a doorkeeper weeds. This knowing that sees, heed this cover, and staff, goal, control toward protection, and this authority, to yoke, lead, teach, also like upon, over by reason of, has charge of high, YHUH wards, upon which an object in such way rests, on which any action gets performed, preeminence, the most high, to elevation, elevate, ascension, offer, experience this staff, attached to oxen for doing work. Outside separation, Ed, from this tent wall, this snake went to try to blow at, store, clay, a, womb, from this chief, covenant, mark, sign, and identification of people, places, and things, strength of this arm, and thrust deed, to physically observe, also like transgress, rebellion, offense, breach of trust against YHUH, break away from just authority, in an outcome of a transgression, i.e., apostate, terrified to quarrel. Away from this, family house inside this tent floor plan, arm and arm thrust, deed, to make made, to physically observe, of in this kingdom of life, that which He shines light on, to continue this sun and air, those snakes, serpent, then thrown to try to do handiwork of shininess, reflection, and of spiritualness, trying against this nailed tent peg, hooked to secure, this fixed anointed, also like trying among an interval of space asunder to try to get perceived, though we try to understand, have wisdom, discern, that trying to make a pattern and trying to have a wall between, trying to continue a house, thrust and thrown to try to make, surround, contain this clay, blown womb, to try to have it physically observe that snake. That thing tried and tries to speak as an edge to try to scatter to openness in this command, an anointed hook to secure, connect this connection to this sun day, a gathering line to this Father, also like to try to clap, smite, to clap hands in token of compact, derision, grief, indignation, punishment, as if satisfying, enough suffice, yet of excess, vomited, also turned back to dust, trying to add hook to secure against this anointed security, connection, arm, and deed, to physically observe this head and person, top man from this beginning, topmost rule, and first possession and inheritance, in and of this family, house, tent floor plan, also like to try to make much more, grow, to try to shoot an arrow, with an idea of to try to project, try to influence, as if a teacher, master, to try to strive for survival and protection, also trying to chide, make contention, controversy. These ox try to lift up to this water, to this top head in person, man, and topmost rule, first possession and inheritance, arm once still thrust, indeed, still to try to get physically observed and as if to secure, as if at all this nailed, anointed, to connect also like, to try to declare, speak, promise, say in, as if heart, think, as if appointed, as if avouched, to boast self, as if tried to challenge, continue, still trying to pretend from, control toward this yoke, from this chief authority, goal, binding, to protect, lead, and teach, also like trying to control toward yoke as a ram, star, idol, elm, terebinth, oath, etc. From Waiha, this arm and hand thrust. Look and behold, this revealed breath of man, that which makes, and made existence, nailed this, anointed to, connect to, life also like Waiha. Those hating this support, shield, pierced hand of this staff established, try to prevent, turn this blowing command, trying to scatter, as an edge, sword from this sun, day, and father, which goes in a line to gather, join things, to and also with this hook security, anointed, also like to clap the hands, as if of satisfaction, to be enough, of excess, vomit, wallow, a token of compact derision, grief, indignation, punishment, really scanty, to try to clasp. See, watch this cover. Instead of understanding this lead, getting taught by this authority of and by staff, this goal, arm and hand, thrust deed to physically observe, from this and to lift up to this see, this blood to these many people, in upheaval, blemish, chaos, also like on, upon, over, those against, as if above, in accordance, to go up, ascend, climb, bring up, offer, trying to, touch, as if having, a cover, duty payment, as if having grounds, any basis, really going up, as if in an attack, instead of works. All eyes see this cover from this family house inside, this tent floor plan of this head and person, topmost rule, and top first possession and inheritance, too tame, also like they try to bend, curve, try those hands at getting the sole of the foot, try to hand grasp as pledge, and attempt to deliver over instead of bowing, crave, try to bend a will of another, bend a grapevine, try to make a famine. This palm of hand subdues, to tame, this staff and goal control toward, which allow us to protect. This authority binds, leads, teaches, also like perfected enough in all manner a state of maturity, fullness, and fulfillment of a purpose. They, all of those, At this, try, and adorning or making something beautiful, as if further, finishing, enhancing, trying to make that. A bride, those rather, mix, mingle, churl in prison, not have, food. This, tent door, door lowered, made movement. Man, from this, head and person. Topmost rule, top possession and inheritance, this palm of hand to tame. Also like this way, path, journey, manner, conduct, moral character, custom, eastward, road. He can bend this bow, serve, guide, lead forth, tread on like oil, a winepress. Those with sharp teeth try to press, to try to consume, and split, divide from this topmost rule, top possession and inheritance, first head and person, son and father day in line, hooked to secure and connect to this anointed, also like hiss, whistle, shrill as a call in scorn, at this security, to connect, join to this anointed arm, thrust deed, to physically observe this kingdom of Yah given life, that which who shines light on, for cover aging, to heat experience, and understand this serpent, shiny and reflective snake-nailed, also like those shake, totter, waver, those wanderers, to move to and fro, vagabonds, those air sin, disturbed, rattle, also like musical instruments shaken, those heads, away from this, topmost rule, top possession and inheritance, and first ox from this, chief divided to face this front, pressed and sharpened from these lifted up waters, also like heads, as if captains, to this chief, top, beginning, top of the mountain, height of stars, chief of a family, first in a series, front, leader's place, principal, ruler, inherits. See, experience, heed, and understand this cover, this staff and goal, to control towards authority, protection, a binding, leading, and teaching. Also like on, upon, over, above, in accordance, according to go up, ascend, climb, brought up, offer. Beyond time had this charge of highest you wards, on grounds of duty, payment, care, incumbent on, burden, a foundation or support on thy behalf to the king, for the sake of, to intercede for, and make atonement for, a 10-stringed harp, acceptably, and upon falseness, notwithstanding in spite of, in this matter, elevation, prominence, to make addition, extending over, to stand by, though supposed to sit, to confess a lamb, made, a goat, relief of blood, guiltless murmurings for this, aloft, alight, by an altar or sacrifice, to shine to this right hand, of and inside this family house, tent floor plan, mark, this signature, sign and covenant, identification of people, places or a things. Also like apple of an eye, stone, village just outside a city wall, pattern, pattern for building something, likeness, form, similitude, figure, to understand. This means skillful, teacher to discern. Of this arm, handiwork, of this, thrust deed, to, physically observe, from this, head and person, this man, from this, beginning divided, pressed and sharpened, to have this goal of this staff, to control toward authority, protect, and bind, to this lifted up sea. Unknown might, also like to lay this foundation of peace, possess peace, Yah of peace. Like Melchizedek to throw, shoot, cast, direct, instruct, teach, flowing like water, throw, to point out, a teaching or giving guidance as aiming or directing something toward a target, whether an arrow or knowledge, aiming a finger. To be complete, soundness, to make amends, to finish, repay, reward, to be safe, reciprocate, fulfilling obligations. To make things right, secure, free from fault, resign to, submit oneself, especially, to YHUH, make whole or good, restore things. Loss, stolen, make compensation for injury, trespass in sacred things. Look, lo and behold, this revealed breath in man, this life to plow as a weapon, harvested food to harvest, this crown cut off, shaken, from, to overturn this as if ox, from this chief, mark and signature, sign of this covenant, identification of people, places, things, also like a tangible object, persons, or things, a more abstract ideas, or specific events. To go from hither to thither, made to dangle, move to and fro, possessor of, then one who owns her such as YHUH on these conditions, thus provided, such deed on this side issued. Look and behold, this breath revealed in man, life to see, experience, watch, and heed, understand, this cover, this arm thrust deed, to physically observe from this head and person, topmost rule, first possession and inheritance, also like this city, to watch, guard, fortified, fortress, city of YHUH, roused, stirred up, exposes, makes bare, that cry of destruction, triumph, divided, sharpened, and repeated, this thrust arm of this chief, from lifted up waters to many, from this topmost head person, rule, first possession and inheritance nailed, for connection to join. This anointed, also like to say, show, declare, make prominent, make lofty, a name to say in this heart, desire, designated, this command, related answer, appointed, to call, certify, challenge, indeed, publish, word, first fruit, full, fullness, a front of a long series of the same, cut from, one full of authority, a promise, branch. Of this, arm, deed thrust, with word, like a sword, blown to, physically observe, also like under figure of a tree, of ransom people, splendor, bright, fair, that which goes beyond normal.